This second is Utami is everything by constant thorns and sweeping. Like, so the link to the video will be the description below. Go and check them out. So let's get into this vaccine 3, 2, 1.
Alright, look, I have a question for you. In your life right now, what
Yeah.
do you feel like is that one thing that gets you up in the morning? The thing that is on your mind constantly. That thing that you are constantly striving for. And kind of the reason that you operate the way you do in your life. So for a lot of people, the answer to that is probably money. Some
Yeah.
sort of business.
Yeah.
It might be finding a new relationship. Maybe there's a new girl that you're talking to, or a new boy you're talking to. But think about it. What's that one thing right now? It should pop to the top of your mind like instantly. Because I mean, it's probably something you're heavily focused on. Now, I want to ask you, why do you believe that that thing that you're focusing on right now, that now is the right time to be focusing on it?
Yeah.
How do you know that that's not something that you should be doing after another thing? How do you know the order of these things that you're striving for and completing and operating your life around
Yeah.
is correct? Now here's what's funny. I actually asked myself this question a little while back. And I thought back to my life about the priorities that I had while growing up. It seemed like for a lot of my younger portion of my life, like kind of that elementary school area, school and sports seemed to be my biggest focus. Then you start hopping over to the middle and high school area. And for me, that school kind of started getting pushed to the side. And I
Wow,
more
really?
started to focus on my status. Girls started leaving sports and school behind.
Wow, really?
But in the moment, it feels right because that's what everyone else is doing, right?
Kind of so.
And then I started learning about business. I started doing YouTube.
YouTube.
I started my first business. School, sports, girls, status, that kind of started going out the way, and YouTube started to be my main focus. Shortly after YouTube, I started getting into working out, and working out became my whole focus, and YouTube gets pushed to the side. This same cycle continues over and over. And when I started sitting back and looking back at my life, I wondered how much time was wasted and where I could be at today if I would have ordered the things I was focusing on differently. What would my life look like if in those middle school years, if I didn't focus on status and girls? If I instead focused on my health, focused on my education, where would I be at today? Here's the thing, there's a lot of different ways to be productive, right? There's a million different ways to be productive. And you can be productive in all different aspects of your life. But how do you know that being productive in one way is not procrastination hiding itself?
Yeah.
It's hard to think about, right? Because
Yeah.
you think, okay, well, no, I'm doing something to better myself, which is great. You should always do something to better yourself.
Really great. Yeah.
But how do you know there's not something you should be doing instead? And look, I'm not saying all of this to instill fear into you. I'm doing this to help you think a little bit more critically about the order and the way that you want to do things. So after kind of thinking about this, I sat down, took some time out of my day, and wrote out what I think, looking back on my life, would have been the ideal order to focus on things. So for me, it was my relationship status, and then it went into YouTube, and then it went into like business, and then working out, and then education. At this stage of my life, My sole and largest focus is on my education, figuring out how I can become a better individual, how I can live a happier life. That is my main focus. But is that where
The
I
main
should be at
focus.
right now? Looking back, this is kind of what I came to the conclusion of. What I would have done differently, first, I would have focused on my education. First and foremost, making sure that my education is spot on. This can be education in your health, which is a very important thing.
Yeah.
This could be education in business. This could be education in social interaction. Education in all
Yeah.
different areas of your life, working out, whatever it is. From there, I would use those skills that I learned from that education to get my health right. So that would be working out a little bit more consistently. That would be making sure my sleep is on point, making sure my diet is on point, getting my body and mind right and in a good state. After
Yeah.
health, I would then jump into business and making money. I would go education, working out and health, business, money first. After business and money, whatever vehicle that is for you, if that's a 9 to 5 job, which I love 9 to 5 jobs, I think they're freaking amazing. You don't, when I say business, it doesn't mean you have to start a business. That's not what I mean anytime I say business. After
Business.
business, whatever that vehicle is for you, getting your career and starting to make money, I would then focus on relationships and status. Whatever that means for you. That doesn't mean you have to be the most well-known person to everyone. Maybe that is just your relationships, your friendships, and your significant other. Whatever that means for you, I think that is the last thing you should be focusing on in that tier. And again, this depends
Yeah.
on where you're at in your life. There's a whole lot of variables. But I want you to sit down right now and think about the order you have done things in your life and think about the ideal order for you. This is a case-by-case basis. So do some critical thinking and think about what that order looks like for you and take the first step to make action on it. Not everyone is the same. You don't have to copy my order. Figure out that order for you and take action. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a super quick one. Kind of just was thinking about it while I was sitting here at work and I was like,
Yeah.
shoot, bro, I gotta talk about this. Anyways, if you want to better your life, I have something coming soon. I have nothing to sell you right now, but it's in the description. You can take a look if you want. Otherwise, I hope you learned at least one thing to make your life even better. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Peace. Yeah. So you tell me it's everything by constant dance in stripping. And link to the video will be the description below. Go and check them out and drop a like if you like. And comment below if you want to see more reaction like this one. And subscribe if you're new and click the bell so you can be notified when I upload in what by. Wow. Be true. You tell me is literally everything. Yeah. Literally everything. Yeah.